What is going on, fellow developers? My name is Tyler Potts, and today we're going to be doing some Firebase and Vue.js authentication. Now, as you can see on the right here, we have this login, email, password, login, need an account, register here. So we need an account, so let's register quickly. Let's do new@test.com and we'll call it new123. Let's hit register. And we're going to say object. Well, that's useful. Let's click OK. Now, it logs us straight in. Actually, welcome new. It's grabbing the first bit of our account, and we can go to the about page. But let's say if we want to go back to login page now, you'll see it takes us straight back to being logged in because obviously we're logged in. So if we log out and we try to go to, let's say, the home page, you'll see it throws us back to the login page. And let's say we try to go to the about page, also throws us back to the login page. So it's authenticated and it's secured. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, fellow developers, we're back, and here we're going to create our React app. So we're going to use the Vue CLI and say Vue create, and then we'll give our app a name. So we're just going to say Vue auth YouTube. Hit enter, and it's going to create our app. But first, it's going to ask us some questions. Now, we're going to manually select some features because we need a router to be able to obviously swap between routes and different pages. We're also going to need CSS preprocessors. We actually don't need it. I just want to use it for convenience. And let's hit enter. We're going to choose Vue 3. We're going to be slapping through this. We're going to choose Node SAS, and we're just going to hit enter on the rest of these. And there you go. Now it's going to start creating our Vue application. While it does that, we need to go to firebase.google.com, and we're going to click on go to console. Now, this is where we're going to set up our Firebase application. So let's click on add project. Now, we've got to give it a name. Let's say Vue auth YouTube, and let's click continue. Let's turn off enable Google Analytics for this project because we don't actually need it for this. You're more than welcome to keep it on if you want. Let's click create project. Now, this is going to take a minute to create our project. So let's quickly just shrink this back down and have a look at how this is going on. It's still going. That's always good. I'll see you once one of these are finished. Okay guys, so the Firebase application is now finished. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to this little cog here and click project settings. We're then going to create a new app. So we need a web app. So we're going to click this little web boy here. And then we need to give it a name. So we're just going to say front end. Now we're just going to click register app. So you can have multiple apps within your Vue or Firebase instance, which you use with different configs. As you can see here, it is giving us this. Let's just click continue to console. We're going to need this soon, but for now, let's head over to authentication over here. Click on that, and it's going to just say, yeah, get started. Let's hit get started, and it's going to bring us over to this page. Now, for this tutorial, we're going to be using email and password, but in the future, we're going to try out some of the Google stuff and maybe some of these other ones as well if you want them. Please let me know which ones you want in the comments section down below. So to enable this, let's click it, and we can select enable here. Now, you can also do password list where you get emailed a link to log in. We're not going to do that. We're just going to select enable, hit save, and that is all we need to do for this step. So that is now done. So let's just leave that there and let's shrink this back down. As you can see, our terminal or our Vue CLI has finished running. So we're going to cd into Vue auth YouTube, hit enter. I'm going to just clear this now, and I'm going to run npm i Firebase because we're going to need the Firebase package to be able to obviously utilize Firebase's features. So let's hit enter, and I'll see you once that is done. Okay, everyone, that is now done. So next up, we just need to open this up in your text editor. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code, and then I'm just going to concatenate the function run npm run surf. Now, what this is going to do is obviously start our development server at the same time. So let's hit enter. And as you can see, this is now opened up. So let's just stretch this out to where we like it. There we go. Nice. Let's close this welcome. Let's open up our source and let's delete the things we don't want. So inside of assets, we could delete the whole assets folder. We don't need that for this tutorial. Inside of components, we can delete that too because we're not going to be using components in this tutorial. Let's head into Vue and go to home, and let's delete both of these and just put home. Hit save. Let's delete the component import and also that for now. Actually, no, we'll delete the whole script tag just for now, just so because we don't need it right yet. We'll add it when we need it. There we go. So that's gone. And as you can see, let's refresh this page. Login's not going to be an actual page, so let's just remove that and hit enter. Here we are. We're home, and we get these two pages so we can navigate between them. But we need a new page. We need a login page and a register page. But before we do that, let's set up our Firebase. So inside of our main.js file, underneath the router, we're going to import Firebase from Firebase. Now you can import specific things like authentication, but for this tutorial, again, we're just going to set up our app. So once we've done that, we need to go back to View Auth here. Let's open this sidebar, click on the project, go to project settings, click off this, scroll down and click config. Now in the config, we're going to copy this Firebase config here. Please don't try and use mine because I will be deleting this app as soon as this tutorial is done and it will not work. So we've got our Firebase config. Let's now say Firebase.initialize app, and then we're just going to pass through our Firebase, if I can type, Firebase configuration. Hit save, and that is all we need to do in our main.js file. So let's just close this, go back here, and then head into our app view. So we don't actually need this. We're going to use everything from inside of our, we don't need a navigation or anything because everything's we're going to put inside of our router for now. So we're going to do it page specific. Obviously, you can do what you want. You can add in ifs and ors to sort you out. But what I'm going to do quickly is I want to style this up just a little bit. We don't need this navigation anymore, so that can go. We can then say anchor tags, color of style inherit, because we're just going to be setting the color of everything to white. Let's take this color here, remove that whole thing, and above app, we're just going to say body. We're going to say background is equal to that, and our color, if I can type, is equal to white. Hit save, and there we go. We've just reversed how it all looks, which is perfect. So there you go. We've got that done. That's now finished. The next thing we're going to do is we need to actually set up our check to check if our authentication is changed. But actually, before we do that, I've just thought we may want to set up our views quickly. So let's create a new file. Let's call it login.view, run view, and then in here we're just going to put .login. And I'm just going to say login. That's all I'm going to do for now. We're also going to create a register. So I'm just going to say register.view. And I'm just going to put in here view. And I'm just going to write .register and type in here register for now. Now let's head over to our router so we can set up the path for this. Now we don't need any of these bloody comments. We don't need comments. We know what we're doing, he says. And let's actually start creating our new path. So we need a path, which is for our login page. And we need a name for this, which is just going to be login. If I can, once again, I can't type today. There's something wrong with me. Let's type in component. And what we're going to do is go do an arrow function into an import, which is just lazy loading our views when we need them. So let's go into views /login.view. Now we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it. Oh, paste it in the right place. And we're just literally going to swap out all the login bits for register. Oh, register. And then this bit, I'm literally going to highlight, press Control or Alt D or Command D, sorry. And I'm going to just do register there. There you go. That swaps them both at the same time. Mix spaces and tabs. Where? Indexed login. Oh, in login view. Oh, you are kidding me. Convert indentations to tabs. That'll do. There you go. They're tabs now. They're all tabs. Now, what? Register to? God, this thing hates me. Convert indentations to tabs. Refer tabs. Tabs over spaces. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's close that and close that and close that. Now, back in our app view, right? So now we can actually go to the login view. We can say /login, and you can see we can go to login. We can also go to register. So we've got our register, but we can also go to home. So as you saw here, we can be at home, which isn't wouldn't normally be an issue, but the problem is we don't want people to be able to go home without registering or logging in. So let's now create our scripts. I'm just going to say JavaScript, hit enter, and in here I'm going to say setup because I'm going to be using the composition API for this. As I do, I'm going to then const router is equal to use router. I'm then going to say const route is equal to use route. Now these are coming from the view router, so we need to import those. So I'm going to say import use router and use route from view view-router. Hit save, and that should be fine. Yeah, we got an error, but it's because we ain't using them yet. We're then going to import on before mount, a lifecycle method from view. And if we now come down here, we can say on before. I'm going to move my keyboard over. I think it's because my keyboard's slightly slanted. View on before mount. And in here, we're just going to say oh, we need to actually import Firebase too. Sorry, I'm missing one. Let's import Firebase from Firebase. Now down here, we can say firebase.auth. Everything we're going to be doing to do with authentication will go through the .auth route or method. And then we're going to say on auth state change. So what this does is it checks if a user signs in or signs out, and it will check if they have. We're then going to pass through user, and we're going to do an arrow function. And in here, we're just going to write if we don't have a user. So if we've not logged in, if anything changes or we've logged out and we haven't logged in, we're just going to say router.replace/login. So basically, we're going to redirect ourselves back to the home page. Then we're just going to say else if, and we're going to say route.path is equal to /login. So if we are logged in, if we have a user, we're going to check if the path is equal to login, or if the route.path is equal to /register. We're then going to say, let's close this sidebar so you can see that a bit easier, /register, and then we're going to say router.replace home. So what we're doing here is we're saying if the path is equal to login or register, but we are logged in, so we have a user, right? We're going to then send us home because we don't want to go to the login or register page because we're already logged in, meaning this page just can't be accessed once you're logged in. But here we can say, when we are logged in, we'll go to our router. So now we've gone to a login page. Let's try and go home again. So if we now come over here and we try to go home, you'll see it redirects us straight to the login page, meaning we can't actually access the home page. And that's already secured our application. That's all we need for the app.view file. So the next page we're going to is our register view, because we're going to need, well, actually, we're going to go to our login view because we're on login here. So let's just add in everything we need here. So we've got our login. Let's just do H1 and just give it a proper login there. So give it a proper title. We're then going to give it a form, and we're going to give it a on submit. So we're going to say at submit.prevent is equal to login. There you go. And then we're just going to create a couple of inputs. We're going to say input text, and we're just going to say placeholder is going to be equal to email. We're then going to copy that, put that underneath, and then we're going to have a password. And again, password. Let's shut this side bit again. Let's spell password correctly. And finally, we're going to have one more input, but this one's going to be of type submit. And the value is going to be login. We then need a paragraph tag in here, and we're just going to say need an account, question mark, need an account. And then we're going to pass through a router link. And we're just going to say register here. And this is going to go to /register. Hit save, and there you go. So now if we click register, we go to the register page. Let's go back. So as you can see, this is now all set up. We can hit login and it won't do anything because obviously we don't have this login function yet. So let's create one. So let's go in our script up above here. We're going to start off by importing ref from view. And then we're going to import Firebase again from Firebase. We're then going to go into export default, and we're going to set up another setup here. And inside of here, we're then going to write constant email is equal to reference. This is going to be bound to our email input there. We're then going to have const password, which is going to be equal to ref as well as an empty string. We're then going to create the logging function we're going to be using to submit our form. And we're just going to say firebase.auth. So we're just going to break this down. Firebase, hello, breakdown.auth. Then we're going to say .sign. Now this bit's the important part. We got to sign in with, and we can choose a lot of different things here. Pop-up is what we use for like Google and stuff. With stuff you could sign in with a phone number, an email link, but what we're going to actually do is sign in with email and password. So we're going to hit email and password, and this takes two values. This is going to take a username or an email and a password. So what we're going to pass through is going to say email.value and password.value. We're then going to say .then, and we're just going to say data. We're just going to console log it for now. Console.log data, and we're then going to catch if we get any errors. So we're just going to say error. We're going to alert the error.message. So all we're doing here is login as assignment effort thing. Yeah, so let's create a return quickly and just say login email password. So once we've got that, let's just try it out. Let's just hit login. It's going to say the email address is badly formatted because we don't actually have one. So let's say test@test.com. But even if we do that, it's still going to throw an error because we actually are not binding these to our input. So over at email, we're going to say fee model. And this is just going to bind our email, which we pass through our props here to our input. We're then going to pass through another fee model. Or sorry, not our props, our data. And then we're going to pass the password and bind that. So now, if we type anything in here, let's just do test@test.com and hit login. It's going to say the email is badly formatted. Again, I think it's because we need a password too. Let's say test123 and hit login. The email is badly formatted. Why is it badly formatted? I assume that means it's just not in the database. It's coming back with a weird error there, but let's try and register now. So we've got our login. It's not working because obviously we can't log in. We have no username. So let's go to register and set that up. Change your password, a data breach on your site. Yeah, I know. It's because I like hacking myself. So let's head over to the register view. Now in here, we're actually going to copy the login view. So we can actually copy this whole bit here and paste it in here. Now we just need to replace the login with register. We're then going to replace this with register because we'll create a register function instead. We need the exact same email and password, but we're just going to replace the value with register. And then we're going to say have an account instead of need an account. And we're going to replace that to login. And we're going to say login here. There you go. So the styling is now done for this one. But let's actually get the functionality in. We don't need these style tags either because we're not actually styling this one up. So we're just going to import Firebase from Firebase. We're then going to import ref from view. And finally, in the export, we're just going to say setup. And we're going to create, like we did before, we're going to constant email, which should be equal to an ref with a empty string and a password which will be ref with another empty string. We'll create the register function here, register. We'll set it equal to an arrow function, not minus an arrow function. That wouldn't make any sense. There we go, bam, register. Now we're going to do a similar thing here. So down here we're going to say Firebase. We're then going to go underneath and do .auth. Again, everything we do within the auth realm comes through the .auth method. We're then going to say dot, and now here's the difference here. Instead of doing sign in, we're going to do create user with email and password. Now we're going to pass the email.value and the password.value here. And then we're going to do dot then, and we're just going to say user and then alert user. Now this might not work because it's actually going to redirect us straight away when we log in. So we can say error.message if any errors come up. So let's see what happens. What we've got here, register is not assigned. Yep, so we need to actually return this from our setup and say register email password, just like we did before. And here we go. So let's just set up with test@test.com. Password we'll do test123. And let's hit register. Object, that means we've actually succeeded in logging in because this alert is actually a user. So if we just did user.email, it's not going to change because we haven't done anything. But now we are logged in. You can see it logs us directly in. So let's go / login now. And you can see it redirects us back to home because we're already logged in and we can't get back there. So now we need to set up a sign out method. So let's go to our home here. And inside of our sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Here we go. Let's click on our home here. And now inside of here, what we want to do is let's just style it up. Let's add a H1 and say welcome. And we're going to just, for now, we're going to just, well, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to say welcome user. We haven't got their username yet. We're going to create a router link to our about page. We're going to say /about. There we go. And then we're just going to say about in here. And we're going to have a break. And under here we're going to say button.logout, sorry, not login, log out. And in here we're just going to say log out. Now we're going to create a method called log out. So we're going to do on click of the button. When we click it, we're going to say log out. Now let's go down here and let's set up our script. And in here we're going to have a setup as usual, which is going to just return nothing for the meantime. And let's go up in script. We're going to import ref. So we can create some variables from view. We're then going to import Firebase from Firebase. And inside of our setup here, scroll up a little, we're just going to say const user is equal to firebase.auth.current user. So what we're doing here is we're checking for our user. We're going to try and find it. And we're going to create user.current user. So what we're doing is from Firebase, we're asking if there's someone logged in, what is their username? Obviously, if we weren't logged in, we wouldn't be able to get to this page. So we don't need to actually do any checks here yet. Let's say const name is equal to ref, and that will be an empty string. And then we're just going to say if user. So if the user exists, or actually, sorry, we need to actually import on before mount again. So on before mount, let's copy that. And we're doing an arrow function, and then here we're going to say if user, we can actually move this inside of our setup here as on before mount as well, as it will make more sense. So we'll say if user, we're going to say name.value is equal to user.email.split. And we're going to check for the @ symbol. So we're going to split from the @ symbol, and then we're going to get the first value. So we're going to get their username is going to be the name before the split. And we're just going to return name. So up here, we can now change this to be name. Hit save, and there you go. It says welcome test because we are called test. Obviously, we've got our logout button there. So let's set up the logout button. So const logout is going to be equal to an arrow function, which is just going to say Firebase. We're going to break down .auth.sign out. So it's as simple as calling sign out. And you could end it there, but we're going to do a dot then. And we're going to just pass through this, and we're just going to say log sign out. Now we'll never see this because we're actually going to be it's going to redirect us straight home, but we just add it there anyway, just so we know. And then we'll alert an error.message here as well. So hit save. Logout is defined but never used. Yeah, let's just say a logout here, save. And there you go. So now if we hit logout, you can see it takes us back to the home page, and we can no longer access the login page. So that is cool. So let's just try logging again. It's test@test.com. The password is test123. Let's hit login. And there you go, we'll log back in. We can navigate between our page. Well, we could if I put a link to go back home from this page. But as you can see, we can now log in. We can create new users. So let's log out. Let's register a new user. Let's actually do my email address at gmail.com. And we'll just go again, do test123. We're going to register. And that object, that means it's logged. We really should change that to be like user.name or something. But here you go, we're logged in. Welcome Tyler Potts Dev, and we can go to the about page. We can go back if we use the arrow keys. I know we should probably add a link in there, but again, this is just for demonstration purposes. So as you can see, guys, we can now log in and use Firebase authentication within our Vue.js application. Now, guys, if you enjoyed learning this project, don't forget to leave a really big thumbs up on the channel. It really does help, and it really does sort the channel out. Then don't forget, if you want to see more, you want more tutorials like this, then don't forget to smash that subscribe button. That way I know you guys like this video, and I want you guys following me just to see more. Finally, guys, if you have any questions, if you get stuck, if there's something you don't know about, if there's something you want to learn more about, don't forget to drop it in the comment section below, and I will try my best to get back to you as fast as I can. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and peace out.